All right, guys, welcome back. It is part two of today's real estate sales training that we're doing down in Norman, Oklahoma. All those people that made it, thank you so much for being here and braving the weather. Oh my gosh, they have a street in Norman, Oklahoma called Flood, and I happened to drive down it during a thunderstorm. It was quite the interesting drive. I just gave it to God, let Him get me here. He got me here. He got everyone else here. We're so happy to be here today, and we're so happy for all of our online watchers today too on today's part two training of the real estate sales system. And these are things that work for me. These are things that work for me, guys. So today's the part two is over finding buyers, selling buyers' homes, and closing buyers on the home they bought. That's what part two is. So let me go ahead and bring in the screen here. I do have comments pulled up. So let me make sure you all see the comments pulled up. Hello, and thank you for being here. Hello, and thank you for being here. And yeah, it is a live event. It is an in-person event. So I just appreciate you guys being here so much. So full disclosure, why should you listen to this guy? So my name is Josh Barnett. I've been in the business 15 years, and I'm just spreading the good news about real estate. Without God, without my wife, or without my team, I wouldn't be anywhere that I'm at today, and each one of those people are vital to my business. So I know that if I can do real estate and be successful at it, make a living at it, then you can too, folks. You definitely can too. Over the last 15 years, I've closed over 600 deals, all because of God and my customers and my team and my wife. And then I've also been a part of over 1,400 transactions. And that's why it's so important to, even if it's not like a structured team, this is what the team does type team, you got to know people in the business. You got to know people in the business, because at one point in your business, you are going to get more business than you can physically handle and still spend time with God, still spend time with your family. So you've got to build relationships in the business. You can hire assistants to handle a lot of stuff, but you can't be everywhere at once. You can't be everywhere at once. And I wouldn't have been able to be a part of over 1,400 transactions if it wasn't for my teammates. It just would not have happened. So I've been at small brokerages. I've been at small independent brokerages, large independent brokerages. I've been at a Realty franchise before, and I've had my own brokerage before. And of course, y'all know I've been at EXP. That's where I'm at right now. Full disclosure, I have to tell you that Oklahoma Real Estate Commission requires you, anytime I talk about real estate, to identify where I'm at. So I've seen a lot of different brokerage models. And so that's another reason that I might know a little bit of one or two things that I'm talking about. And then over the last 15 years, I've also built 2 duplexes. I've managed 72 rental properties. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I managed the rental properties less than a year, and I said, no, thank you. And then the 2 duplexes after that, never built another house, a duplex, or anything. Like, no, thank you. And then also, guys, let me get my head out of the way right here. Look, if I can do this, if I can be successful at real estate, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And these are the systems that work for me. These are things that work for me, and I'm sharing them with you because they can work for you too if you apply them. And they work for me. They work for me. And if they don't work for you, I will totally refund you the cost of this course. It's free. Come on, guys. Come on. That had to be funny. That had to be funny. So let's go through the process. This is all about processes. This is all about how you take a buyer from the initial phone call all the way to closing. That's what this presentation is about. So if you're a broker owner, if you're a team leader, if you're a high producing agent, regular producing agent, or a brand new agent, there's going to be a couple nuggets in this presentation that you're going to be able to apply to your business and hopefully help you fix any bottlenecks that you have in your business. Now, is it perfect? No, nothing's perfect. Not since the fall of man, nothing is perfect. Everything is imperfect. And even before the fall of man, things had to have been imperfect, or else the fall of man probably wouldn't have happened. But never mind that. We're not going to go into that. We're talking about real estate. So listen, when you get that initial phone call, don't answer that phone unless your A game's on. Don't answer that phone unless you're prepared to take a conversation. And what I mean by that is people are reaching out to you and they're getting ready to give you the opportunity to make a bunch of money. They're getting ready to give you the opportunity to help them buy a house, aka get a commission check, aka be able to feed your family, be able to tithe, be able to help the community. Answer that phone with your A game on. Answer that phone with your listening ears on. You know how our preschool teachers and shoot, even some of my high school teachers used to tell me, "Are your listening ears on?" And school wasn't my thing. It took me 10 years to get through college. Part of that is because of real estate. Like why sit in a classroom? Never mind, not going in that. Okay, so when they call you, get your listening ears on. Most of the time, they're going to be in front of a house or looking at a house when they call you. They're calling about something that's for sale. Okay? What they don't know is they really need you. They really need your professionalism. They really need your systems. They really need your knowledge, your inspectors, your lender. They need that from you. They need it from you. But all they're doing is ask you about that house. And if you realize that, if you take those phone calls knowing what's going on in their mind, you're going to be able to help them with all the other stuff that you know. They're calling you. They want to see the house. They want to know the price of it. They want to know if it's negotiable, right? If you want to have fun with buyers, you could always be like, oh my gosh, I know the seller will negotiate up if you need to break the ice, if you need to have a little fun with them, because they're not going to know what to say to that. If they ask you, is the price negotiable? Say, I know they'll take more money. You could have fun with that. Be like, because that's what you were asking, right? And they're like, no, that wasn't what I was asking. Have fun on these conversations too. Don't be super uptight, but go at it professionally and go at it with what they're talking about. Give them the price of the house and then ask them some qualifying questions while you're looking up the info if you don't already have it memorized. How long have you guys been looking? I'm typing that address in right now. I'm going to get that pulled up for you. How long have you guys been looking for homes? And they're going to say blah, 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 blah. And then, oh, that's so great. Well, the price is this. And then answer their initial question and then do a follow-up question. So you've been looking for such and such? Are you already working with an agent? Because you need to pre-qualify. If they're already working with an agent and they're seriously working with that agent, then you need to redirect them back to that agent, okay? Unless they're like, yeah, but we're not happy with it. Qualify that. Find out why not. Really, tell me a little more about that. And they'll tell you why they're not happy with it. And if it's buyer unrealistic expectations, affirm that they're buyer unrealistic expectations in a professional manner and say, yeah, guys, that does happen in this market. It really does. I'm sure Jane Doe is an amazing agent. I personally haven't ever heard of her or done a deal with her. Okay, we're back. And now I should not get kicked out theoretically because I put my library card number in. So what I was saying is qualify that person, make sure they're not already working with an agent. If they are already working with an agent, respectfully redirect them back to that agent, okay? Redirect them. Unless they're just like, no, I'm never working with them again. I didn't sign a buyer broker agreement. They're not my agent anymore. Then you would want to go ahead and try to earn their business in that point. But if they're already working with an agent, just stop right there, revert them back to that agent, okay? And then also when you're talking to them and they're talking to you, they don't realize they need your systems. The very first part of the system is always talk about the financing, okay? If they're not buying cash with rates raising, at the time of this video, rates are raising, you want to make sure they get the pre-qualification done because someone who could buy a $400,000 house 2 months ago may only now be able to buy a $360,000 house. And $40,000 sales price is a huge difference. It's a huge difference. So even if they were pre-qualified 2 months ago, have them reach out to that lender, or you say, hey, I'm going to have that lender reach out to you and go over what today's current rates are. Because the rates may have just brought that buying power down at the time of this video. June 8, 2022, rates were raising. 2 months ago, they may have lost $40,000 on the purchase power using financing. So always verify the pre-approval first, okay? So that's what happens when the initial buyer calls. Any questions on that? So sorry that we lost the connection there. Any questions on that? No? Perfect. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so how the heck do you find buyers? I have to tell you, in my experience, and you might have different experiences than me, but I find that you find buyers 4 times more quickly, 4 times more easily than you do sellers. And comment down below if you find that to be the same for you too. Now, if you're actively calling FSBOs, calling expireds, if you're actively circle dialing, which I highly recommend doing that too, then that ratio probably won't be the same. But if you're just doing social media advertising, if you're just doing advertising in general, then I feel, in my experience over the last 15 years, that you get 4 buyers to every 1 seller. So what is that? 80% more likely to be able to go find a buyer out of nowhere. So if you want to work with buyers, they are a lot easier to find, in my experience. So how do you do that? How do you find them? I'm going to give you 3 quick, easy ways. 3 quick, easy ways. If you implement this in your daily routine, your weekly routine, you're going to get your phone to start ringing. Number 1, you have to start a YouTube channel. That's part 4 of today's course. Part 4, we're going to go over the YouTube channel. You have to do that. The information, just your local knowledge, just the local community knowledge that you have, is what they're looking for. They're getting ready to make a move. They're getting ready to make one of the largest investments in their life. You start a YouTube channel that talks about the community, that talks about the cost of living, talks about the different neighborhoods, talks about the pros and cons of the area. They're out there searching for that data. They're out there just trying to find everything they can, do their own research on an area to make sure it's the right move. Look, my wife and I, we're a little cuckoo when it comes to moving. I'm not going to lie. We've moved 4 times in the last 5 years. 1, 2, 3. 3 times in the last 4 years. That's cuckoo. That's upset. Why would you do that? Well, people do that. They do that. And when they're moving, they're researching areas. And if you're the one giving them the info on it, if you're the one giving them the tours on the neighborhoods, who do you think they're going to call? Who do you think they're going to call when they're ready to make that move? You. That's right. They're absolutely going to call you. So part 4 of today's course is all about YouTube. We're going to go in that into great detail on how to create those videos. So stick around for part 4. Another way to find buyers. Super simple. Take any one of your listings. You're going to post 3 different ads on your Facebook business page. You're going to post a regular website link ad and the write-up and the link to it. You're going to post a post, not an ad. You're going to post a post of just a bunch of pictures about the house, just a whole bunch of pictures, really. And then in the write-up, you're going to copy the same write-up, put it over there, bada bing, bada boom. And then another post you're going to make is a carousel ad post. Okay, so each day, at the beginning of the day, you do one of those posts. And then you take that post, you share it to garage sale sites. You share it to your business. You share it to your personal page. And you put the little general write-up. Talk about the home, do the call to action, and put the phone number and the link in it. Real simple, okay? And then you're going to do that each day successively for 3 days in a row. People are going to call you about that house. They're going to call you. The power of social media, the 3 different posts attract 3 different types of buyers. I don't know how it works. I'm not a supercomputer. I don't pretend to be a supercomputer on TV, but social media puts those posts in front of the personalities, in front of the people with characteristics that like those specific posts. And when you post on the garage sale sites, you're going to get hate comments. Don't worry about it. You want comments. You want that post to stay alive. You're going to get people like, oh my gosh, that's so overpriced. Who the heck would pay for that? You're like, really, where do you think it should be priced at? Ask them. Get that conversation going. They're looking at it for some reason. Heck, they might have a farm they need to sell. They're just a grumpy old farmer I'm not trying to classify farmers as grumpy people. I know a lot of amazing farmers. They're not grumpy. They could be a grumpy old grump. They could. Have conversations with everyone. If someone's blasting it, have conversations with them. If they continue to get more and more negative over time, you can just delete the comment. So don't worry about it. You can stop communicating with them and just delete the comment. But reach out to them. Say, really, what comparables are you looking at that make you feel that way? Have you seen these comparables? Send them a link to your comparables and be like, here's where I'm getting the price at. What do you think? They might have something they want to sell. Well, heck, if houses are selling for that much, I got one I want to sell. You just got a new listing. Okay? Don't worry about negative comments. Talk with them. Be a salesperson. Okay? People complain. Look at the news. It's all complaints. Don't worry about it. So those are 3. And then the other thing is Craigslist. You're like, what? Craigslist? Like, who does that? I do it. I do it. It gets business, guys. It does. It gets business. We have closings every year from Craigslist. I promise you. It's free. Each one of these methods I've told you just takes time. It literally just takes time. So that's how you find buyers. Any questions on that? Put them in the comments below, and then we'll get those answered. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay. Buyer value proposition, estimated costs, types of loans, and what exactly do they want. So during the buyer process, like I'm talking about, these videos are to show you the buyer process from the start to the beginning. So once you attract that buyer, you're going to have conversations with them. You're going to qualify them. You're going to go, like if they want to buy a $200,000 house, they haven't talked to a lender yet, you can easily put an estimated cost to buyer sheet together, send it over to them to add value. No one's going to be doing that. No one they're talking to is going to be doing that. Oh, really? Okay. Have you already looked at the numbers yet? If they're not pre-qualified, they haven't looked at the numbers. They don't know what the down payment is. They don't know the loan type they want to use. They don't know what closing costs are. They haven't looked at anything. They just want to buy a house. You just keep that want, keep that desire, and keep moving it forward through the sales process, through the buyer system. You just do that. Let them know, hey, here's 3 or 4 other lenders that other customers have been happy with in the area. Reach out to them and interview each one of them. Let me know which one you want to work with. One of them might click with you better than the other personality type wise. Reach out to them, talk to them, see which one you want. You're getting ready to give them a loan. They want to earn your business. They're all going to do you a great job according to other customers. Okay. You figure out which one you want. And then also say, that house was a 3-bed, 2-bath with a fireplace and it had a decent sized backyard. Do you guys have any puppies that might need a bigger yard? Ask them questions. They want to look at houses, but they want to buy a house. Find out what they want to buy. That house is located a block away from Boomer Stadium. Are you okay with loud football games at night, 4 months out of the year? I don't know how long football season lasts. Don't blast me on that. It might be 6 months out of the year. But are you okay with band practices at Boomer Stadium? Are you okay with that? They might not want to live next to Boomer Stadium. I wouldn't. I got kids right now. I wouldn't want to live right next to a Boomer Stadium. When I put them down at night, I want them to stay asleep. I don't want them to get woke up by a crazy ESPN crowd going, you missed a field goal. Talk to them. Figure out what they want. You're a salesperson. You know the product information. You have the product knowledge to help them find exactly what they want. You can literally sell a house on the very first house that someone looks at if it meets every one of their qualifications. I've done it. Okay. It doesn't happen that often, but I've done it before. Hole in one in golf. How about show them one house and sell it? Huh? How cool would that be, right? All right. Any questions on that? Put them down in the comments below. Okay. Game time. Game time is kind of what we just talked about. I should have already went to that slide. Sorry about that. I need to combine those 2 slides. Let's go to the next one. So follow up. Okay. So you follow up. So when you first talk to someone, at that moment, they wanted to do something. Okay. And if that wasn't the perfect house for them, now you start being a salesperson. Now you start being a salesman, a saleswoman. Okay. You connect them with the lender. At the end of the day, you follow up with them and you follow up with that lender. Hey, Tom. Hey, Jane. Were you guys able to connect? Did you guys talk about loan types? Did you go over down payments, et cetera, et cetera? Connect those 2 people. You follow up. You help people through the process as a salesman or a saleswoman. Look, if you as a real estate agent aren't following up with people, other real estate teams, other real estate agents, they are following up with people. And I'm sorry, but if you don't have a strong relationship with that buyer, they're not going to remember who you were from the other agent, especially if they drove around all weekend and called a bunch of real estate agents. Okay. You've got to follow up. So the easiest follow up, and write this down, take notes on this. This is important. Put a star by this one. So the first 4 weeks when you're working with the buyer, Mondays and Thursdays, always check in. Stay very active on that buyer. And if you haven't contracted them in the first 30 days, then you'll probably move them back to an every Thursday check-in. The National Association of Realtors, last time I looked at it, said people start looking at houses, 3 to 6 months out. 3 to 6 months out. So if they're not ready to buy that house in that first 30 days, then just start checking with them every week, every Thursday. Start checking in with them. So the first 4 weeks, Mondays and Thursdays. After that, just Add them to your Thursday check-ins. Just check in with them every Thursday. And the reason you want to check in with them on Thursday is so that you can set up your appointment, your weekend schedule, so you can get all your Friday showings booked and all your Sunday showings booked. You want to make sure that's scheduled and they have appointments and they have reminders. Put them in your Google Calendar, send them reminders. Okay, keep that going. Okay, does that make sense on the follow-up? Making sure the lender and them connect, and then making sure you're connecting with them throughout the week to get them in a home. The first 30 days is really hot. If you can contract them the first 30 days, that's great. If you can't, then just start checking in with them every week. And let me tell you, the week you don't check in with them is the week that you see they bought a house on Facebook. Okay? It's very important to stay on your follow-ups, especially when you're helping buyers buy houses and you can't get them contracted in that first 30 days. Any questions on that, put them down in the comments below. If you're liking this content, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Okay, so we went over follow-up, we went over get them pre-qualified, loan type, all that stuff. Now let's go over showings and contracts. If your MLS doesn't already have a way to pick all the houses and then organize them on a directions tab or something like that, check with your MLS, check with your AE, see if they've got that. All of them should have that. Then just get all the houses they like and plug all the addresses into Google Maps, And the reason I use Google Maps is a couple times, not knocking Apple. I'm an Apple guy. A couple times Apple has sent me to the wrong side of town. And I can't deal with that. I got a schedule. I got little kids. I got to be at home by 6 to help the missus get the kids home. I can't mess up a whole hour of my day, or I'm having to call a team member to help me out with showings. I can't do that. So I recommend Google. And if it's new construction, read where it's at. On the MLS sheet, it's going to have directions. I know. We're so reliant on our smartphones, but sometimes you got to look at the map and read the directions to figure out where the neighborhoods are, especially with new construction. Not knocking anyone, but that's just how it is. Don't rely on your smartphone for everything, because a smartphone is made to make you dumb. Okay, that's enough of that. I'll get off that soapbox. Okay, so line out all your showings on the directions. Me personally, I like to start at the house furthest away from where I live. That way, when I'm done with showings, I'm closest to being home. That's what I want. If you're dealing with an out-of-town customer, then you might want to end the showings closest to their hotel. If they're flying in, you're looking at houses that week, and then they're flying out. Out of respect for them and out of respect that they're not local, they don't know the city, in the last showing closest to their hotel. Okay, does that make sense? All right. And then so schedule the showings. Go show the houses. When you're showing a house, be an expert. Be a professional salesman. Be a professional saleswoman. Talk about the benefits. And if you see anything that's going to come up on an inspection, be like, in the past, this has come up on inspections before. If it's something that warrants that. If it's something stupid like the door doesn't shut all the way, be like, oh, that's so annoying. This door needs a little tweaked. Easily overcome that objection. But be positive about the house. I love that this is an all brick house, and I love how that builder put siding above the garage and didn't take the brick above the garage. You can't. So many times does brick settle above the garage, and it just leaves that little settlement mark. That is so annoying. I'm so happy this builder did the siding above it. Little things like that. You come up to the front porch, and it has a front porch. Guys, it has a front porch, and look, it faces south. So the front porch in the mornings, you're going to get all that beautiful sunlight. So you can sit out here and just take in the sun with the coffee. You're not being dramatic. You're not being weird. You're pointing out positives. They want to buy a house. It's your job as a salesperson to help them buy a house. Tell them why they should buy it. Too many agents out there, it's horrible. It's horrible. But that old saying, they're just tour guides. Don't be a tour guide. Be a salesman. Be a saleswoman. Show them the house. Show them the benefits. Show them the positives. Be about selling the house. That's why you're there. That's why the listing agent is offering you part of the commission. They expect you to sell the house, not be mean, not tear it down. Be a salesperson. Now, if it's just a bad house and it's not a good fit for them, and you know that based off of what they told you, Ask them. Ask them. There's been so many times I've showed houses, and on the inside, I've been like, how'd this get on the list? But the buyer was in love with it. They're like, I love this living room with all this wood paneling. It reminds me of my grandma's house. And I'm like, it does. Yes, it does. I love that too. I might not feel 100% that way because I felt the other way, but it ain't up to me. It's their house. It is their house, people. Let them buy the house they want to buy. Don't mess yourself out of a commission. Don't unsell a house. Let the buyer decide. You're there to help them. Let me, one second. I'm getting a sore throat. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, moving right along. Any questions on that? Put it down in the comments below. Okay, inspections, financing, and title. Inspections are so important as a buyer. So you find the right house, you go under contract, the seller accepts your contract, and now you got inspections, financing, and title. Prep that buyer for these steps. These are very, very big steps. And it's very, very important for them to get them done. So once you contract, send that contract to the title company, send it to the lender, make sure the lender gets the good faith documents sent out, and the buyer signs those good faith disclosures or something. And then also make sure the title company opens up title so that, one second, so that we can make sure we've got good marketable title on the property. There's been things that come up on properties before that no one knew about. Like, let's say an ex-wife from the past had a giant credit card bill, and the credit card company put a lien on the house that the ex-husband never even knew about. You got to get that removed to be able to sell the house. Either the credit card's got to get paid off, or an attorney has to say, whoa, you have no rights to put a lien on this house. And that's not the title company's job. That's what an outside attorney has to do. So I'm not an attorney. I know attorneys that I can refer you to, but usually they can do that pretty quickly, pretty easily, if in my experience. But every attorney is different. Every house is different. Every lien is different. So you got to get that worked through. So that's the title part. And then financing part, they've got to get the appraisal paid for and ordered so the appraiser can go appraise it and say, yes, this is how much the house is worth. We'll give you a loan for this amount. And then at the same time, all of that's going on, the buyer's doing the inspections. If the roof in Oklahoma, you always want the home inspector to look at the roof to let you know, okay, yeah, it hasn't had a hailstorm in the last year in Oklahoma. And then also, checking out the HVAC. In Oklahoma, we have 20-year HVAC units, but we got extreme weathers. It's always going up and down. You got to make sure that HVAC is blowing the right heat, cool differential thingy. The home inspector handles all that, but you've got to get all that scheduled, get all that going, and you want the buyer there to be able to ask the inspector any questions that come up along the way. You want them to be there if at all possible. And also the termite inspection for Oklahoma. So any questions on that, put it in the comments down below. And I'm not trying to rush you through this. I just want to teach you this system in 30 minutes, and the stupid internet cutting out on us cut into that time. So once you get through inspections, investigations, reviews, and you get through the TRR negotiations, if anything big does come up and you do submit a TRR, and you get through the appraisal and the appraisal's good, and then you get through the title and the title works good, then you get what's called a repair walkthrough. So if you submitted the TRR to the seller and the seller agreed to fix X, Y, and Z, but not ABC, then once that's done, you get to go back and make sure it's done. I would always recommend to have the inspector there to do that. Yes, it costs more, but the inspector knows what he's looking for. What are you and the buyer going to know to look for if something was repaired right? You as an agent, you don't even want that liability. You don't even want to say, oh yeah, we could just go look at it. No, tell them, hey, we recommend having the inspector come back to make sure the repairs are done right. And they're a professional who said it was done wrong to begin with, so they'll know if it was done right. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Comment below if you do something different. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that too. Okay. And then once you do the repair walkthrough and the buyer and seller are in agreement that the repairs were done right, then you're just waiting for the final walkthrough, guys. You want to do the final walkthrough 1 hour before closing or the night before closing. Look, if it's tornado season, if it's thunderstorm season, do it 1 hour before closing. Don't do it the night before. Because what if a hailstorm rolls through, totals out the roof, totals out the gutter, stuff like that? You got to negotiate those repairs. Your lender may not even let you have those repairs negotiated. They might want them done before closing. But that's why during tornado season, during thunderstorm season in Oklahoma, it's very, very key to do it 1 hour before, because anything could happen overnight with our storms. So does that make sense on final walkthroughs? And bring a vacuum and show up 30 minutes early. Bring a vacuum, show up 30 minutes early, and vacuum the house if it needs it, okay? Get some rags and wipe down all the countertops, wipe down the oven, stuff like that. Make sure when they walk into that house for that final walkthrough that they are still in love with it, that they are still feeling the same feelings they were feeling when they walked into it, when they were comparing it to other houses, when they left after the inspection, still in love with it, can't wait to move in. When they walk in, make sure it's clean, presentable, beautiful home, ready for them to move their family into, or themselves, or their dogs. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Let me check the next slide real quick. That might be it. Okay, the final clean and closing. Okay, so now you had the final clean done. They walked through, they're in love with it, they're happy, and now you go to closing. Typically, they're going to follow you to closing. Okay, they're going to follow you to closing from the final walkthrough. Make sure if you're pulling up to the building and there's only one parking spot in the front that you don't take it. Give it to them. Seriously, like don't take the good parking spot. Roll your window down and point out the window and say, there's a spot for you. You're servicing them. You're a salesman. You're a saleswoman. Be courteous. Be respectful. Help the customer. You get ready to get a huge check because of them. Give them the parking spot. Give it to them. Okay? And then you park around back. And then run up there and get the door open for them. Don't make them open the door. Run up there and get the door open for them. Smiling, excited, happy for them to have a home. To have a home. One of the most basic needs that people have is to have a home, have a shelter, have a cave. Open that door for them. Introduce them to the title company. Ask them if they want any refreshments. Have them sit down, and then just have general chit chat about the house, about the neighborhood, about all the pros about the house, about all the pros about the neighborhood, about where the local Home Depot is. Make sure, verify. 3 days before closing, you already told them to set up all the utilities. Verify right now they did that. Make sure they don't lose electricity or lose gas over the weekend. Verify all that's done. The closer will take you in. You'll sit down with the closer. You'll sign all the docs. You have to verify that settlement statement number is the exact same number that it was 3 days ago when you sent it to them, to let them know what it was. And that's pretty much it. And also remind them during the closing, too, that they're going to get a ton of spam. They're going to get a ton of spam mail. They're going to get people showing up at their house. Yeah, I'm with ADT, and your agent said that you wanted ADT service. No, we didn't. No, we did not. Warn them about those people. Warn them that they're going to get spam in the mail. You need a certified copy of your deed for $150. No, you don't. Nope. No, you don't. Nope. The county mailed you the original deed back. You have the original document. You don't need a certified copy of your deed for $150. If you want a certified copy of your deed, go down to county, give them $15, and they'll give you one if you want that. Okay? Don't worry about that spam stuff, but open up all your mail. Open it up, check it, call your agent to verify to make sure it's good. Tell them to call you to verify that it's good and not something that isn't good. Okay? And that's it, guys. That's the buyer process. From the beginning to the end, that's the buyer process. From the initial phone call to the closing, you're constantly servicing the customer. The only other thing after that is you want to be sure to put that customer in your CRM, and you want to be sure and check in on them on their home anniversary date and on their birthdays. Be sure to call them on their birthdays and their home anniversary date. Ask them how they're going. Ask them how they're spending their happy birthdays. If you know they're a father, shoot them a little text on Father's Day. Hey, happy Father's Day. I hope you're enjoying the house and everything's good. Let me know if you need anything. And that could be something as simple as like a painter, a lawn care person, a handyman, et cetera, et cetera. Check in with them. And on Mother's Day, if they're moms, check in with them on Mother's Day, if they're moms too. Check in with the same sex on the days. You do you're comfortable level. But as a man, as a salesman, I definitely check in with the dads on Father's Day. So I hope all that makes sense. I hope you guys found value in that video today. Give it a thumbs up. We will see you at the top of the hour for how to do Gmail for business. And it's going to be an exciting class. I love Gmail. Gmail runs all my emails. I'll see you at the top of the hour. There's no questions, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down so everyone can take a break, handle a little bit of business, and I'll see you back here at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time.